All right, I'm going to read Dan Burisch's terms, key terms. First term, I'll start with AD, is ADNA. When it's cataloged, that stands for ancient DNA. AEC is Atomic Energy Commission. AFGP is antifreeze glycoprotein. The ambassadorial suite is where the J-Rod was kept. It was called the 6-degree system, exterior to the clean sphere, hooked into an interior system inside a doorway. ABT stands for Automated Biological Laboratory. Bioremediation is the use of plants or microorganisms to clean up pollution or to solve other environmental problems, mushrooms, soaking up radiation and whatnot in the soil. Black water is a dark discoloration of seawater described in the Bay of Florida in 2002. Fishermen complained and requested that the government do something, and scientists say the black water results from a non-toxic algal something or other, like a bloom or diatoms. It dissipated within a few months by transport through the Florida Keys into the Straits and by disruption by winds and wave action. They are still yet to determine the source of black water. Blue apples symbolize the secrets of creation, secrets possessed by the skilled ones. William Henry wrote a book called Blue Apples about the stone of God, a healing tone or a cord that links man and God together. The key of life, and the keystones, Holy Grail. BCW stands for biological and chemical warfare. BIRD in documents MJ12's use of the word bird refers to EBEs. CAP, Controlled Access Program. CAPOC, Controlled Access Program Oversight Committee. CDC, Centers for Disease Control. CDCN, Command of the Defense Communications Network, which coordinates military communications worldwide. That's a tri-service setup. And a nerve center beneath the field at Hawthorne in a separate location to the main Rudlow base. The use of the word clock refers to the timeline paradox. Committee of the Majority, COTM, as some of the most powerful men on the planet, drawn primarily from the Trilateral Commission. It's primarily a Masonic group and home to several factions. They use the term illums by majestic operatives in Europe and is tied to its monetary unit, the American dollar. COTM is the Committee of the Majority. CMN, Children's Miracle Network. CMT, Charcot-Marie-Tooth, a hereditary progressive neuromuscular disorder that affects feet, legs, hands, and their glycoprotein problems, like a dystrophy, people losing heat and not transmitting energy. CTC stands for cell tissue culture. Crossbridge was a group of 32 cells, 8 tetrads formed from a GP, which extends from a target cell to a secondary cell, associated with the Shiva Linga. CS is Cockayne syndrome. The J-rods have a set of straggling tissues involving mutation, expression of genetic disease, and evolutionary reductionism that promotes further disease. They have double helices, but the mutations, reductionism, and extra attachments to their DNA causes them great problems, to include the expression of the Cockayne variant, polyneuropathy, MGUS-like condition, and heat loss. DARPA has experimental personnel hiring authority for eminent scientists and engineers from outside government sources to term appointments with different agencies, like the DoD. DCTP stands for radioactive nucleotides. or a doctrine of convergent timeline paradox, consequences of time travel are stacked in reality like a stack of cards. DISA, Defense Information Systems Agency of the U.S., DMT, dimethyltryptamine. Mainly used in South America and shamanic practices. DTIC stands for Defense Technical Information Center, the central facility for the collection and dissemination of scientific and technical information for the DoD. The DTIC is a vital link in the transfer of information on personnel. DON, Department of Navy. Dreamland was a data repository establishment and maintenance land, one of many projects set to take place at Area 51. ECM, electronic countermeasures. Einstein-Rosen bridges, stargates, gateways, wormholes. ELFRAD, extremely low frequency research and development, founded in 1986. And ULFs, which propagate the interior of the Earth. Element, electromagnetic intelligence, one of many projects aid in Nevada. Program HIS, hybrid intelligence system, and IRIS, infrared intruder systems. Eloah Vada'ath, the divine name of Tifereth, meaning Lord of Knowledge. Tree of Life. Universal Mind. ERBs were Einstein-Rosen bridges. ERPs, Einstein-Rosen, Podolsky, same thing basically as Einstein-Rosen bridges. FBM project, a project which Dan got funding to research on fresh, brackish, and marine environments to see how and when and under what conditions the original prokaryotic cells began to change into eukaryotic cells. He found what level of salinity would food sources necessitate the changeover to an onboard food source, chlorophyll, and felt that this point of change could help to predict the moment in geological time and under what conditions the change took place. Using the panspermia theory, his experiment with mission Genesis was also a biological experiment. He was already disposed to look for the genesis of life from space and the possibility of those seeds of life having populated other worlds. GP stands for Ganesh particle. Class A particles that emerge from the electromagnetic river as opposed to Class B particles, which are viral in nature, and C particles or selkies, which act as gateway particles. GPs, through a process known by MJ12, form and emerge from an activated quartz crystal and travel down the EM river to the target cell. Two cross bridges emerge and attach to the target, whereupon the target cell is revitalized, invigorated, and resurrected. Peter Hill Norton was part of NATO's military committee. HIS, hybrid intelligence system, various spots in Nevada. HMSN, hereditary motor and sensory neuropathy. HPM, high power microwave bomb. Hybrids, HU, denote the hybrids who have been born with the soul matrix, and rebrids to denote those who do not. Back to J-Rod, this is a class of EBE from Zeta Reticulum, housed in a pressurized hydrogen clean sphere at level 5 of S4 facility. They have a degenerative neurological condition similar to Gray's, P plus 52-year J-Rods, 52s. They're from the GLIES, G-L-I-E-S, 876 system, halfway between Earth and Zeta Reticulum. P plus 45-year J-Rods, after called 45s, are from Zeta Reticuli and don't suffer the diseases as do the 52s. Keystone DCTP is the process of engineering molecules with desired properties is the keystone of molecular evolution, achieved through a repeating process of changes in the DNA, followed by screening or selection of the optimum sequence. Changes result as recombination and mutagenesis. DNA shuffling is a combination in vitro recombination of related sequences and a low rate of random point mutagenesis in one experiment. If the size of the template DNA is too similar to the size of the products, it's necessary to digest the template DNA enzymatically. Deoxycytidine 5-triphosphate DCTP radioactive nucleotides. Land of Enchantment refers to New Mexico, LANL, Los Angeles National Laboratories, laser acoustics, older technology. The operator directs a laser beam on a window nearest where the subject is, and the equipment measures the vibrations of the window, and a computer separates the sounds until they can hear whoever they wish. Reverberations. Looking Glass is related to the ERP programs. Lotus Protocol is a genesis mechanism associated with the Tree of Life. The Lotus Project was a subset of the Starflower Project. MEP is a municipal and emergency plan. MGUS is a monoclonal gammopathy of uncertain significance. Men in Black are J-rods that wear the dead and act as timeline guards to ensure sensitive issues, events, or even conversations aren't disclosed that could change future history. The bodies belong to human cadavers that are relegated to the first half of the 20th century. Preserve destiny. They intimidate, and some have been taken into custody. During the Cabrillo Bay operation of Project Preserve Mother. MJTF, Military Joint Tactical Force, Delta Force, Black Berets, multinational tactical force used to guard various stealth aircrafts. MOD, Ministry of Defense in the UK, responsible for the implementation of government defense policy and headquarters of the UK military. MPS, Multiple Protective Shelter. NDT, Neo-Darwinian Theories. NIDS, National Institute for Discovery Science, privately funded in the research of aerial phenomenon. Animal mutilations and anomalous things. Raven Magi, this info business, and keep the line of investigations on the right track for the government. NILOs, Naval Intelligence Liaison Officers. NSSM, National Security Study Memorandum, like Henry Kissinger's. ONR, Office of Naval Research, coordinates, executes, and promotes the science and technology programs of the U.S. and Marine Corps in schools and laboratories and nonprofit and for-profit organizations, and improve technology manufacturing processes. Panspermia theory suggests that life seeds came from outer space and other planets. Like rocks from Mars. PNA is a peptide nucleic acid, which is a protein associated background nucleic acid. That protein associated background is called a prion, destructive prion disease. Project Patchwork was a controlled release of information that started out around Las Vegas. Pearls of Brahma was a group of viruses emitted from the GP on the side opposite the Shiva Linga. PPD, Project Preserve Destiny, Project Aquarius, overreaching project of EBE studies in 1953. Project Lotus developed a model to utilize the miraculous Ganesh particle to heal everything from earthly ecosystems to the human body and cancer. Project Preserve Destiny is before 1960. And to prepare the population for the cataclysms expected after the 20 12 time frame period. Project Preserve Mother involved deployment of the Ganesh particles into the polluted waters of the Cabrillo Bay outside LA to clean up the ecosystems. Q94-109A, Queen 94-109 Alpha Link is a document to develop a cure for the neuropathy suffered by alien J-Rod. Rain Dancer was a compartmentalized project within the Chemtrail project. RER is Rough ENR. S4, Sector 4 facility at the Papoose Mountain, nicknamed Shady Rest. SAP, Special Access Program. Section D, Biological Tinkering Facility. SER, Smooth Endoplasmic Reticulum, Shady Rest. Shiva Linga was a tube that emerged from the open GP to penetrate another cell. SMCA, State Marine Conservation Area. SMR was Special Mission Recitation. Before Project Lotus, the final form of the SMRs were termed SGPs for Sanctuary of the Golden Petal, a First Amendment dodge utilized by Majestic to protect sensitive projects. STAR, Strategic Tactical Advanced Alien Response, composed of only a few individuals recruited from their own disciplines to form the nucleus of the team. Top experts in advanced computing, astrophysics, biology, cryptography, communications, diplomacy, explosive, hazardous materials, and intelligence. Beanbox was called Aquarius, deals with time issues involving a larger milieu of extraterrestrial interactions and with historical issues involving imprints of extraterrestrials on civilizations past and how these imprints affect us today. TES, totally encapsulated suit. TFOs, triplex forming oligonucleotides. Project Tiamat was with water. This dragon Tiamat is regarded as a mystery of chaos, primal and uncontrollable, passionate in her unchecked creative energy, frightening, unknown, of formless primordial matter, sacrificially recreated in Earth. A creatrix of celestial and earthly realms as a result of her violent demise. A primordial mother of the chaos in the ocean in the form of ancient divine feminine. A union with Apsu, the personification of freshwater, created Lakmu and Lakamu and other deities. Project Tiamat gave birth to the true purpose of Project Lotus, the deep, the mother ocean, provider of life. Tehom, also representing a planet destroyed by Nibiru and the asteroid belt. The watery globe, Earth being survivors of that first cataclysm. T9 Treaty, the Tau 9 Treaty for the Preservation of Humanity. The Tau 9 Treaty between two factions of J-Rods and the COTM was renewed every 9 years. Vishnu Schist, SCHIST, was a great maintainer and preserver in the cellular component of the lotus, a source of crystal, quartz crystal, in the Frenchman Mountains of Nevada. Watertown is also a reference to Area 51. Then we have the U.S. Commission on Ocean Policy that started in 2004, calling on the President and Congress to take decisive, immediate actions to carry out recommendations which will halt steady decline of the nation's oceans and coasts. In 2004, the commission expired as provided under the terms of the Oceans Acts of 2000. Yellow Book was a book about alien visitors, like a holographic compact disc, which can project images of information that it contained, and also references to biblical events. Pyramid Ages, and Observers of Earth. Zeta Reticuli, a binary star system located 39 light years away in the constellation Reticulum, not visible north of the tropics. Two subdwarfs, two stars, are thought to be younger galactic disk stars, older than the Sun, belonging to Zeta Herculis stellar moving group. Both yellow dwarf stars, similar to the Sun. They are 60% as enriched with metals as the Sun is. The J. Rod Dan Burisch later found out was from Reticulum 4,